Hello and welcome to another Pilates video with myself. Just a couple of things on this first video. It is very windy outside today, so if you can hear any noise, I do apologise. And also I'm using my new camera as well, so just bear with me. I'm trying my best to not get my treadmill in the way so that you can see me full on, but if you do see like a little black thing in the corner, that is my treadmill and I can only apologise. I'm still kind of getting used to this. So today we're just going to do a normal basic intermediate flow, options for advanced as well. So let's begin. And coming to the back of your mat, we're going to have our feet with our toe joints touching, and then we're going to rotate the hips to a nice little V, kind of like you could put a little piece of cake in there. I sometimes say to my clients, like Charlie Chaplin or a penguin, it's just a nice small V. From there, bring the chin down, tuck pelvis under and begin to slowly roll down for me. We're going to try and go one bone at a time, really thinking of uncurling that spine, and only go down as far as you feel comfortable. And when you get to the bottom, you're going to begin to roll all the way back up. Last thing to come up should be the head. And then again, roll all the way down. Come to the bottom, just circle those arms for me. And maybe just circle them a couple times one way, a couple of times the other way. And then bend your knees, put your hands on the floor, walking your hands out. So you come into what we call our 4-point tabletop stance, basically hands and knees. Let's have a little bit of a check here of our stance. We want to make sure wrists are under shoulders and hips are underneath the knees, the best that you can in your home practice. So put your hand on your hip. Is the seam of your trouser, does it feel like it's going straight down, or do you feel like you're having to reach back? From there, open the fingertips, make sure we've got a nice gap between the knees, and we're going to start with our cat-cow. So we exhale round the back, pushing the back up to the ceiling. Inhale, belly down, head and bottom lift. Exhale, we round. Inhale, head and bottom lift. Do that 2 more times for me. And lift. And last time, round. And lift. Beautiful. We should feel like our back's warmed up a little bit now. Come back into your 4-point tabletop stance. Take your left leg back, right arm forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hug in that knee. Inhale, take it straight back out. If that's too much, you can just lift and lower. Go for your level today. And then replace that hand and knee down. Let's go for the other side. Inhale out, exhale in. Trying our best to keep the leg in line with the bottom and the back, and the arm in line. Now don't worry, if you haven't got great shoulder mobility, you may find that you want to lift your chest. Only lift your arm to where you feel comfortable. So that, if that's only a couple of inches off the floor, perfectly fine. And relax, coming back down. Let's go into our rest position, toes together, knees apart, pushing our bottom down towards our feet, and make sure the outer sides of your belly are going to be on the inner part of your legs for support. And just push down, just taking a few nice deep breaths. Coming back onto hands and knees for me. We're then going to do our plank 1. Now with this one, it's very much dependent on your ability to hold a plank. Now watch me first, see if you think you're going to be able to do it. If not, that's no problem. If you can't do what I'm about to do, what I'd like you to do is take your hands out and your knees a little bit further back and try and hold a modified plank. You should really feel your tummy muscles in this position. If you can, turn your toes underneath in your 4-point table stance and try and lift your knees up by a couple of inches. And the first one's always a test. Do you feel quite comfortable with what you're doing? If that's yes, then we're going to just carry on. So we're going to lift our knees up, hold that position, really think of breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And release. Maybe go into that rest position just for a second, just to release any tension. Coming back up. Now if you're holding your modified plank, feel free to go back into that position. If you just want to hold the plank one with your knees lifted a couple of inches, feel free. Alternatively, for our more intermediate advanced clients out there, we're going to lift into our plank one and start trying to lift and lower one leg then the other. Being mindful of keeping those knees only a couple of inches off the floor. Keep that going up and down, really breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more each side. And release back down, beautiful. Coming onto your bottom now, we're going to do our spine stretch. Feet can either be with a slight gap for beginners, and the reason I do that is so that you don't start letting your legs go in and out. You can actually grip the thighs together. More intermediate advanced, open those legs a little bit wider. We're going to have our arms in front. You can just see a slight bend in my arm, and this is just to stop you pulling your shoulders out. We're going to exhale, come forward. Inhale, restack. Exhale, forward. Inhale, restack. Now if this is too much on the legs, feel free to have a bend in the knee. You take your time and go into your practice here. One more. And then when you've done that, restack that spine for me. Just maybe give those shoulders a bit of a wiggle. And we're going to open the legs a little bit wider. So again, if you're tight in the hamstrings, feel free to bend the knee. I've got a bit of an injury on this leg, so I might have to bend this knee today. I'll have to see how it goes. But we're going to do our saw. And I'm going to do our basic to begin with, and then go into our more intermediate. So with the legs the width of the mat, I want you to imagine that you've got a line coming down the middle of your mat, and that's what your hand is going to be placed on. So you're going to have your hands in our genie position, one hand on top of the other, shoulders in back sockets. Inhale to your left, right hand comes onto that pretend line, and exhale, we come forward, looking at that back elbow. Inhale, we restack, turn to the right. Left hand comes down, and we come forward. So we'll just start off here, warming up our rotation. Only going down as far as you feel comfortable. Being mindful that we're not shifting pelvis around. And if you want, and you can only do this if you want to, you don't feel pressured into this, you can come down into your original position, take your back arm and extend it behind, little finger to ceiling. So this is our progression here, getting our back arm into the equation, trying to make a nice straight line. If from here you feel that you want to progress on this next one, you can. But for now, just take a second, roll those shoulders. We don't want to jam the neck or the back. So you've got your two options there. Beginner is just coming down with one arm at the front. Intermediate, we extend both. Intermediate advanced, what you can actually do is instead of coming straight down that middle, we take that front arm over the opposite leg. And that's where it gets its name from, like you're sawing off your leg. So we'll begin again. Inhale to the left. Choose your option. Exhale, come down. Inhale, re-stack, twist. Exhale, come down. And again, one more each side. Inhale, twist. Exhale, down. Last one, inhale, twist. Exhale, down. And then just release for me. Going into a little bit more rotation, I'll turn to face you now. We're going to do some side breathing techniques as well. So if you can, feet together, knees open to the side. Now some people do find this quite uncomfortable. I totally understand. My injury on my hamstring isn't too happy today, so I'm not going to be pushing my legs down as I usually would. You don't have to bring the feet too close. If this is really uncomfortable for you, feel free just to cross the legs. This is more about the rotation of our upper thoracic spine, our upper body, more than our hip rotation. From here, put your hands on your shoulders. This is just going to stop you from flailing your arms about. I'm not there, unfortunately, to make you get in the right position. So this is my new modification for this exercise. We're going to inhale, twist to the right. Exhale, middle. Inhale, left. Exhale, middle. Get really comfortable with this rotation first. And in a minute, we're going to change this exercise and the way that we do our breathing. It's going to make it a little bit harder, but we're going to be using some really good muscles in our tummy. I think we've probably got that rotation down, so come back to the centre. Take a nice big deep breath in, and as we exhale, we go to the left twice. Inhale, middle. Right, inhale, middle. Last one. And relax. Beautiful. Can be quite hard on that upper body. From there, I'll just turn back round. We're going to lie ourselves down onto our mat. Have your knees bent, feet on the floor. Try to make sure ankles under knees in line with hips. We're just going to start with our pelvic tilt. So imagining that pelvis is a clock. 6 o'clock is the belly button, 12 o'clock is the groin area. So what we're doing is pushing the back to 6 and then arching the bottom bit of the back to 12, like you've got, or you're pretending you've got a really big bottom. So we're just going 6 and 12. 6 and 12. Now this is really, really good if you are working from home at the minute or in an office still and you're sat down quite a lot. It's also good for those people that are stood up quite a lot as well, because we tend to jam into the bottom of the back and that's where we get pain. And we're just trying to loosen everything up. I try to do this a couple of times a day, morning and evening. When you're ready, we're going to come into what we call our neutral spine, and that is halfway between the two extremes. So you should still be able to get a hand under your back. You can put your thumbs on your bottom rib, first finger on your bony bit of your hip bone, and it should feel around about level. From there, we're going to start our bridges. So we're going to exhale, push into 6 o'clock, slowly roll all the way up that back, one round at a time until we come into this lovely diagonal position. Take a big breath in and exhale, roll down. Inhale to our neutral. Exhale, roll down to push up. Inhale at the top. And exhale, roll down. Now that we've warmed up that back a bit, we've got choices here. Beginners can stay here. Intermediate, feel free, arms at the top. We can go 45 degrees behind to make it a little bit harder, your choice. But we still have to go through 6 o'clock, rolling all the way up and all the way down. Really be mindful here that as you're coming up, you're not letting your knees open. A lot of people do that, even people that have been doing Pilates for years, even I can do it sometimes. It's just when you lose the connection in your legs. And what you can do is If you have a Pilates ball, which is one of these lovely squidgy balls, you can actually put them between your knees. If you don't have that, don't worry. A rolled up towel will do, a cushion that's folded in half. One of the kids' squidgy footballs would also be quite helpful if you let a bit of the air out. And that just really makes you squeeze the inner thighs as we come up and down. But for today, you don't need it, it's just something for your self-practice. Hold at the bottom, rock those knees side to side, release any tension in the bottom of that back. And then from there, I'd like you to roll all the way back up into your bridge, really set yourself in that bridge position. And I want to see if you can lift the heel of your left foot, bring it down, right foot, bring it down. And we're just going to walk the heels up and down. Harder is arms in air, hardest is still behind. Coming up and down. You should really start to feel the back of your thighs. And roll all the way down, maybe hook those knees into the chest, just rocking that back side to side. From there, feet on the floor, roll all the way back up. You can carry on if you want with your lift and lower of your heels, or you can start to bring one knee up then the other. Again, arms down is easier, arms to ceiling a little bit harder, arms 45 behind, a little bit harder still. If this is working for you, what I'd like you to do is lift into your right leg up to the ceiling. We're going to inhale, take it down, exhale, lift it up. Inhale down, exhale up. Try to think of that pelvis, not letting it tip to one side or the other. Switch legs. Lift to ceiling. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. Few more for me. Last one. And replace that foot down, rolling out of that bridge. We'll start with a little bit of tummy exercises as well now. We'll do our series of 5. You can have a break in the middle if you want. If you're advanced and you don't want the break in the middle, that's perfectly fine. You can just keep your head and neck lifted. And through any of these exercises, if you need to stop, please do. And your choices are to keep head down, or you can lift them up. But what we want to make sure is that we start in our neutral, and as we engage the tummy muscles, that's when we push down. So from here, hook the right leg into the chest, and as we hook that in, that back's going to come onto the floor. We want to make sure it stays there. Lift the left leg, ceiling for beginners. Feel free to have a bend in the knee if you need to. 45-degree intermediate advanced, no lower than that, because you'll go into your hip flexor if you do. We want our tummy muscles. And if you can, lift your head and chest up. We're going to inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. So you're inhaling for 2, and then exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Hook both knees in. We're going to roll down for a second. Make sure we're not jamming into that neck. Lift again if you want, but feel free to keep head down if you also want to. Inhale, legs out, arms come back. And then exhale, hug in. Inhale up, exhale, hug in. Try not to lower the shoulders if we can help it. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Hold there. Again, feel free to lower the head, rocking side to side if you want. Lift right leg up, grab behind thigh or calf, but not the knee joint. Lower the left leg to 45 or just off the floor. We're going to inhale, exhale, giving that leg a double pulse. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Hold both legs to ceiling, interlink the fingers behind the head. Keep those shoulders lifted. Inhale, lower down slightly, exhale, come up. Feel free to go to 45, but if you find that your back's moving, just do an inch. Perfectly fine, I don't mind which option you take. Inhale down, exhale up. Bring both legs into tabletop and just relax down for a second. Feel free to pause at any point if you want a longer break. Head and shoulders lift back up. We're going to inhale and rotate upper body to the left and extend the right leg. Inhale, middle. Exhale, right, left leg. So it's inhale, middle, exhale, rotate, leg comes out. Really be mindful of the leg that's in that tabletop, that it stays there and doesn't come in. One more each side. And release. Maybe just rock that back side to side for me. Wonderful. From there, feet come back onto the floor for a second. We're going to look at some bicycle movements. So we're going to take our right leg up, we're going to inhale down, exhale, bend the knee in and take it straight back up. I'm not too anal about the breathing, so as long as you're breathing I'm happy, but I just want to go through that hip because sometimes we really do feel the core exercises in the hip flexors. And what we don't want to do is just feel really tight all the time, so change direction. I find in my classes that this is a nice little break in between exercises. And release. Let's do the other side. Inhale down, exhale round, just like riding a bike. And then change direction. Beautiful. Take those legs out nice and straight for me. We're going to do our modified hip circle. If you have been doing Pilates before and you actually want to do a full hip circle, be my guest. But just so that everyone can do this exercise, I'm going to do the modified version. So we're going to put the right leg into tabletop, trying to keep knee over hip. And this is all about stability of our pelvis. So in this exercise, we've got the right leg lifted. We're looking at stabilising the left-hand side. So first of all, we're going to come over to the left, lifting the right bum cheek up. So this is like a little bit of a back stretch. Come back to the middle and slowly open the leg over to the right. And be really careful here because you're going to want to move over and we want to try and stabilise. So it's middle and left. Middle, slowly open to the right. Keep that going. So we go all the way over to the left, right bum cheek lifts. Middle and open to right. All the way over. Back to middle. Open to the right. Back to middle. From there, carry on with that for a couple more if you want. If you want to make it a little bit harder, we're going to lift the leg up, and this time, imagine you're tracing maybe a circle the size of a dinner plate, and what we want to try and do is keep that pelvis nice and steady. It's really hard, so I sometimes put my hands on my pelvis just to see if I can feel a movement. And then change direction. And release. Whew. Really feel that in that hip. So left leg's going to come up. We're going to come over to the right. Left bum cheek lifts. Middle, open to left. Middle, over to the right. Middle, open to left. So keep that going all the way over to the right, bum cheek lifts, middle, open to left, making sure we're not lifting that right hip now. Open to the left the last time. Lift left leg nice and high. We'll just trace that circle if you want. About the size of a side plate. And then change direction. And release for me, beautiful. So from there we're going to do some side leg series. If you've been doing this before, feel free to change the leg and where you want the leg to be. But for now I'm going to do the basic version. So I'm going to lie on my left hand side to begin with, using my arm as a pillow. And I'm going to have my bottom leg bent, top leg nice and straight. Okay, so from here we're going to make sure that we can't see our leg in our peripheral vision as we lift and lower. Trying our best, I sometimes have to look to make sure that I'm not moving. But lifting leg up and down, try not to go too high because as you go higher you'll tend to tilt back. So up and down with that top leg, really connecting what we call our powerhouse. And that's our core. So anything really from the bottom rib to the pelvis and bottom back to underneath the bottom. So we want to make sure all this is working together. Hold at the top and do some small circles. And switch direction. Feel free to have top hand on mat if you wish. Lower that leg so it's in line with that top hip. And we're going to exhale forward, inhale back. Exhale forward, inhale back. It's going to start to feel like cramp. I've already done a workout today, so I'm really suffering right now. I'd love to put this leg down, but I'm not going to. And then put top leg on bottom leg, feet and knees together. Open and close that top knee. Really using all the lovely muscles in the legs. We're using the glute muscles here. Keeping knees together, I want you to pivot forward so both feet lift up. We're going to open the knee, extend the leg, feet together, knee comes down. Open, extend, feet, then knee. Open, extend, feet, knee. Open, extend and hold and just do a few little circles. Changing direction and then bring the feet together, then the knee and extend those legs for me, beautiful. We're going to lift the top leg slightly, bring the bottom leg to meet it and then lower together. Lift, lift, lower. Lift, lift, lower. Hold at the top and can we take one leg forward, one leg back, nice and slow in our swim. And release. Beautiful. I'm just going to twizzle round, but by all means you can just roll over if you want. So we're coming on to the other side. Bottom leg bent, top leg nice and straight. Making sure we've got a lovely straight body. Powerhouse connected. Inhale up, exhale down. Holding at the top some small circles. Remember you can have that hand on the floor for support. Change direction. Lower that leg in line with that hip. Forward and back. Exhale forward, inhale back. Exhale forward, inhale back. Last one. Put that top leg on the bottom leg and we're going to open and close that knee, making sure we're not tipping that hip back if we can help. Keep the knees together. Pivot so both feet lift. We're going to open the knee, extend the leg. Feet together, knee comes down. Open, extend, feet, knee. Open, extend, feet and knee. Open, extend and hold small circles. My bottom is on fire right now. Change direction. Feet together, knee. Lengthen those legs, we're nearly there. We lift the top leg, bring bottom leg to meet it, lower down. Lift, lift, lower. Lift, lift, lower. Lift, lift and hold. Do our swim back and forth. Really trying to stabilise pelvis. Oh, and release. Give that bottom a pat, sometimes that really helps. We're just going to roll onto the front now. And we're going to do some back exercises. So if you've got enough room, we're going to have arms out in front, legs behind. I'm hoping my hands are still in frame here. If you haven't got room to have your arms in front, feel free to have hands just in line with the shoulders. And what you can actually do is lift and lower like this. Lifting, chest squeezing, shoulder blades. Today I'm having my arms out, hoping that I'm not going to hit a wall. We're going to lift opposite arm, opposite leg. So for me, left leg, right arm, head and chest lift, and come down, and then change sides. Inhale up, exhale down. And again, if you've got poor shoulder mobility, that's not a problem. Try and not come to the side, even if it's just an inch. That's perfectly fine. We want to pretend that we've glued those hips onto the floor. And release, give those hips a little bit of a wiggle. We're going to start that again, but a little bit faster. Now, you just go as fast as you want to go with this. What I don't want to see preferably is people looking like weebles and rocking around all over the place. So only go as quick as you can. So if that is literally just what we were doing, perfect. If you want, join me by lifting your left leg, right arm and hold at the top. Head and chest lifted. And we're just going to switch arm and leg as fast as we can while breathing. And release. Wonderful. Oh, giving those hips a little bit of a wobble side to side. From there, just push yourself up into your rest position, toes together, knees apart. Pushing bottom down. Take some nice deep breaths. Coming back onto hands and knees for me. We're going to look at doing our elephant stretch and some plank work. Now, if you're not comfortable with a plank, remember you can just hold your modified plank like this, no problem. From there, if you can, we're going to take our left leg back and then our right leg into our plank position, and we're going to rock back and forth. So I'm not lifting my bottom. The problem here is people will tend to rock up, and we want to keep our back straight. Trying this for me. And release back down. Go into your rest position. We're going to come back up and try that one more time. So again, feel free, hold a modified plank. You could hold a plank one if you wish, or you can join me with the rock back and forth. And in a second I am going to lift the leg. I'm going to make this a little bit harder. But if you don't want to lift the leg, that's fine. You go with just what you want to do today, and you can always improve next time. And sometimes I don't feel like lifting my leg either and making it hard on myself. But today, we're going to do it. It's a Saturday, and I'm raring to go with this one. Coming back into your plank, start rocking back and forth. And when you feel comfortable, lift your left leg. So we're just rocking back and forth on that right leg. Hold. Can we lift and lower that leg? Whew. Definitely a hard one today. Change sides. Right leg lifts and we rock back and forth on that left leg. Hold, lift and lower. From there, replace both feet, and if you can, come into your elephant, which is where we stick our bottom in the air. It's kind of like an elongated down dog. Feel free to have bent knees if you wish. And then roll back over into your plank, and do this by looking at your knees, lifting onto the toes, rolling over one bone at a time until you come back into your plank position. Knees down, take a rest. We're going to do that elephant stretch, elongated down dog, whatever you wish to call it, one more time, just to give you really a chance to try it. So we're in our plank position. We lift the bottom, we roll over and try our best to lower the ankles a little bit, looking between hands. You can pulse one leg up then the other, doing our little bicycles, stretching out the back of the legs. From there, lifting both heels up, rolling all the way over, back into our plank, and then coming into our rest position. Beautiful. We're now into our stretch portion. So you've managed to get through, well done. So we're going to do a few different types of stretches today for the legs, and then just a few for the arms, and then you are done. So we're going to take our right leg forward and come into our hip flexor stretch. Right knee is over right ankle, left leg elongated behind. Feel free to have hands down if you want. Push the bottom back, lengthen that front leg. If you need a bit of a bend, that's fine. We're just trying to lengthen out the back of that right leg. And then switch sides for me. Left leg comes forward, we come into our lovely hip flexor stretch. Bottom back, leg extends. Should feel a lovely stretch now. Come back onto hands and knees, we'll do a few cat-cow. So in our 4-point tabletop stance, we exhale, push the back up. Inhale, belly down, head and bottom lift. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round one last time, holding that angry cat, and then just push the bottom a little bit further towards the feet. And then just coming back into tabletop, and then just coming onto your bottom for me. I've got a couple of nice back stretches for you. So what you're going to do is have your legs in front with a bend in them and the feet up towards the ceiling. Take your right hand and grab the outside of the left foot, and you're going to push your foot down as you pull back as much as you can with that right arm, and you should feel a lovely stretch down the shoulder blade. And we release, change sides. So left hand, right foot. We push the foot forward as we pull back. And then release. And from there, just come cross-legged on the mat for me. So you've come to the end of your Pilates video. And just join me for a second if you can in just a couple of deep breathing exercises here. I'll maybe just do one with you, but you can get comfortable however you want. I like to sit, some people like to lie down. And what I want you to do is to close your eyes just for a second, and we're going to look at our Pilates breathing, which is really good, especially if you're feeling anxious. And right now, let's be honest, we're all feeling a little bit anxious with what's going on in the world. What I want you to do is tighten your tummy muscles, and as you breathe in, try and breathe into your ribs to the outside. So we breathe in, and we breathe out. Feeling those ribs come out as we breathe in, and close as we breathe out. And just do this a few times. Really just calming mind and body a little bit. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. This will be, I think, our third video, or my third video that I have done, and I just want to thank you all for joining me on this platform, and I hope you are all staying safe and well, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.